how one person turned 565 states into one united India. What is the story of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and how his efforts across his life are responsible for the modern India that we see. When India got free in 1947, it stood not as one nation, but it stood as 565 broken pieces. But amidst this chaos stood one man with steel in his soul and unity in his vision. Iron Man of India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who just did not dream of a united India, he was the one to build it. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we are going to talk about this person who has contributed in so many ways to create the united India and the modern India that stands in front of us. That is on 31st October, where we celebrate Rashtriya Ekta Diwas, that is National Unity Day. It becomes important to understand that who was that person who brought this unity to our nation, who brought this Ekta to our Rashtra. So let us begin with understanding that what was the kind of vision that this person had for India. Quoting him directly, he was the one to say that his desire is that India should be a united and a strong country, and that there should be no one who should be able to exploit her weakness. This highlights not just his vision, but also what sentiment he carried towards his country. Now let us talk about the background from which this person comes from, and you will be shocked to know that he comes from a very humble, simple farmer's family. He was born on 31st October in 1875 in Nadiad, Gujarat, where he gradually went on to be known as Iron Man because he had the discipline and determination which brought this united India in front of us. So, if we talk about his education, he studied law in London, then returned to India in 1913, and gradually he was one of the most respected barristers which were present in the city of Ahmedabad. And that is when his entry came to the public life. So when we talk about the public life, it was Kheda Satyagrah of 1918, which was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi. And when we talk about the Satyagrah, it was peasants who were standing against unjust British taxation. Apart from that, another important movement comes in 1928, that is Bardoli Satyagrah, and it was his leadership that farmers were able to successfully resist a 30% tax hike. And it was this time that he earned this title of Sardar, and it was given to him by Mahatma Gandhi itself. And it was not just this, he was a core member of Indian National Congress, he was an instrumental part of our Indian freedom struggle, he has organized movements, he has raised funds, and he has ensured the discipline in the party which is responsible for bringing the freedom home. After this, if we talk about apart from the public life and his contribution to the freedom struggle, he has contributed humongously when we are talking about the post-independence time. So after 1947, when India was politically free, but we had multiple fragments, it was him in the role of Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister, and he was the one who brought this 565 princely states who were scattered, who had the option to go and join the other dominion into India, and that's when we see the united India. And when we talk about the steel and his vigor and his efforts, but at the same time you have to also see the emotion and understanding he has carried during carrying out this heavy task, that he clearly understood, and he has stated that the problem of the states that exist is so difficult that it cannot be solved by bloodshed. It requires statesmanship and an iron will, and which was shown by him. Now let us move, and as a tribute, as to understanding better about this person who brought and through his effort gave us this united India, let us understand in what ways Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel has shaped today's India, starting with his role of unifier. So it was Patel's mission that he wanted to bring these 565 princely states into one country, and it was with him that his secretary VP Menon, both of them went ahead and created what is known as instrument of accession. Because of this, rulers will be able to voluntarily merge their states with India, and they would be ceding the control. The princely states will be giving the control of defense, communication and foreign affairs. He just did not use a strong hand, he used diplomacy and also personal persuasion with most of the rulers to make sure that they are signing this instrument of accession. Apart from this, it was firmness and also force where diplomacy did not work out. So in the duration of 1947 to 49, it was his hard work, tireless working throughout that we get to see India's unity in front of us. Now let us understand that how it actually took place through some examples. We know Junagadh. The ruler of Junagadh decided, which had a majority Hindu population, that it wanted to go for Pakistan. It was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's very swift action as well as public referendum that made sure that Junagadh gets to merge with India and not Pakistan. Otherwise, we might have seen 3 pieces of Pakistan across. Apart from that, we have example of Hyderabad, where it was Operation Polo, showing a firm hand where the Nizam wanted independence, but it was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel sending Indian forces that completed the integration in merely 5 days. Then we have the most known scenario of Kashmir, when the tribal raiders from Pakistan invaded. It was his again on the feet thinking that he airlifted the troops, got the instrument of accession signed by Maharaja and saved the valley. So in his own words, he was the one who got to weld 565 scattered pieces into a single steel frame that we are labeling as United India, and if we fail, India will be lost forever. So he knew if we couldn't bring these all in one frame, the idea of India will be lost there. So as a result, we got to see that within 2 years, it was 99% of the Indian territory that was brought under one frame, under one umbrella, and which was heavily doubted by the Britishers that it was impossible, and that's why they left with an option of states being independent or joining either of Dominion, because they did not expect that India could come out this way. This is not the only role that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel has performed for us. Apart from the unifier, he has been an exemplary administrator as well, where he had the vision, where he understood that the political unity will not function. We have brought 565 princely states, yes, but it is of absolute no use if there will be no administrative unity. He was the one who insisted on retaining Indian civil services and then went on to transforming into Indian administrative services and Indian police services, that is IAS and IPS for you. He also went ahead and clearly said that you will not have a united India if you do not have a good all India service which has independence to serve the nation as a whole. So the inspiration that we are talking about and this vision was laid down by him, and because of that we get to see that there is protection to the civil services from the political interference. We also get to see that there is a foundation of merit-based apolitical bureaucracy that we see in our country till this date, and also he created a system that connects the center with the states through a shared administrative machinery. And as the impact, we get to see that IAS and IPS became India's very own steel frame, which gives stability, which gives accountability, and which delivers on the efficiency when we are talking about in governance. And even after decades, this services remains the backbone of our state, ensuring that every part of India from Nagaland to Kutch is governed by the same administrative principles. Now that we have understood unifier, we have understand the administrator, let us see into another role that is in front of us is of the guardian. He played the role of a guardian with a vision that when there was India being born, there shouldn't be bloodshed, mass migration that we were seeing and communal violence. We were seeing millions of Hindus, Sikhs, Muslims which were trying to cross border, and there was chaos. So when we are talking about his role as guardian, he understood the scale of crisis of that particular time, and he went ahead and contributed as Home Minister, where he was seen taking charge of restoring law and order. He toured all the riot hit areas, he restructured police administration, and most importantly, he built up a refugee rehabilitation board. He remarked that it is our duty to protect every citizen, no matter what is the faith. India must stand firm in the pledge when we are talking about equality. So he protected everyone like their own, like its own, as a guardian in this situation. And as an impact, we got to see that within months, our capital was stabilized. Furthermore, 40 lakh families, refugee families, 40 lakh displaced families were able to rehabilitate because of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's efforts into townships like Lajpat Nagar and Faridabad. Now moving on to another important role that he served, that was of a commander. Because if we talk about before 1947, each princely state had their own army, own navy and police. And they were loyal to the ruler because there existed no such idea of a nation. So when we are talking about freedom and India came together as a country, as an Indian state, we have to understand this was a huge problem in its own. And it was Patel's achievement that he integrated 562 princely state forces into the national command immediately. Then he established a centralized defense structure where the army, the navy, the air force would be committed towards the nation, and ensured that this loyalty is towards Indian Republic, not towards any sort of regional ruler. Because this was not just a structural reform, it was about a psychological change, because this new identity of Indian state had to be instilled, had to be stamped. And it was important for Indian soldiers to understand that it was not about king or queen anymore, it was about the Indian constitution. And the proof of the immense and commendable work that he had done was given right next when Operation Polo happened, because in 5 days the consolidated command structure helped to not only ensure national integrity but also saved thousands of lives. Apart from that, coming towards another important role that he served for us was of the constitutional visionary, because an important part of the constitution, an important provision of the constitution that we understand is the federalism, and it was in the Constituent Assembly that he argued for a powerful center which is required to keep India together. He was the person who talked about inclusion of all India services in the constitution itself. He advocated for Article 356 when we are talking about President's rule, because that would be required in emergencies when India's unity is threatened, and he supported single citizenship to bring all the citizens under one particular name, one identity, rather than contributing or fueling provincial loyalties. And as he quoted, that the strength of the center is the strength of the nation, and without a strong center, India will fall apart like house of cards. So his vision, his efforts and what he did aligned in such a way that they are proving to be fruitful till the very date. So coming to the conclusion, I would like to only say, if we consider that Mahatma Gandhi brought us freedom, we have to definitely credit Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel for bringing us unity, which has been quoted by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and he has built this invisible yet important architecture of India, which has unity, which has governance, and most importantly, the sense of national purpose. On this very note, I'll leave you with a practice question here. You can put down the answers of this question in the comment section. I will be revealing the answer in my next video. Now presenting to you the answer of yesterday's video, in which we discussed in detail about India's energy security scenario, where we saw Russian crude oil tankers taking a U-turn. The correct answer here is A. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.